The silence that followed Eminem's freestyle line about Tupac's mother was deafening, but what Tupac unleashed 3 seconds later would become the most savage verbal destruction in rap battle history. The 40,000 fans who witnessed it would never forget the moment when hip-hop's most dangerous lyricist proved exactly why nobody should ever disrespect his family. It was July 20th, 1996, at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Detroit, Eminem's hometown. Tupac was headlining a sold-out show when the young, unknown white rapper somehow managed to get on stage during the middle of his performance. Security was moving to remove him when Eminem grabbed a microphone and issued a challenge that would change both their lives forever. "Yo, Pac," Eminem called out, his voice carrying through the arena. "I'm from Detroit. This is my city, and I want to battle you right here, right now." The crowd erupted in excited confusion. Nobody knew who this white kid was, but his audacity in challenging Tupac Shakur on his own stage was either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Tupac, initially annoyed by the interruption, looked at the young rapper with curiosity rather than anger. Something about Eminem's intensity and fearless approach intrigued him. "You want to battle me?" Tupac asked, walking closer to Eminem. "You know who I am, right? You know what you're asking for?" "I know exactly what I'm asking for," Eminem replied, his voice steady despite the enormity of what he was attempting. "I've been studying you, Pac. I know your style, your flow, your weaknesses, and I think I can take you." The 40,000 fans were on their feet now, understanding that they were about to witness something unprecedented in hip-hop history. But what happened when the actual battle began would exceed everyone's expectations for both skill and savagery. "All right, young blood," Tupac said, gesturing to his DJ. "You want to freestyle battle the king? Let's see what you got. You go first." Eminem stepped to the center of the stage, and what came out of his mouth shocked everyone present. His flow was incredible. His wordplay was complex, and his delivery was flawless. For 2 minutes, he delivered one of the most technically perfect freestyle performances anyone had ever heard. "I came from the bottom. Now I'm standing on your stage. White boy from Detroit. But I spit with black rage. They say I don't belong in this culture that we share. The talent knows no color when the skills are really there." The crowd was impressed despite themselves. This unknown white rapper was holding his own against one of hip-hop's greatest, but then Eminem made the mistake that would change everything. "Hey, you think you're hard but you're soft like your mom's. She raised a fake thug who just writes emotional songs. Your mama's boy image got you crying on these tracks, while real soldiers like me are ready for attacks." The moment the words left his mouth, the entire arena went silent. 40,000 people collectively held their breath, understanding that Eminem had just crossed the most sacred line in hip-hop culture. In rap battles, there were unwritten rules. You could attack someone's skills, their credibility, their appearance, but you never, ever disrespected someone's mother. Tupac's expression changed instantly. The amusement disappeared, replaced by a cold fury that everyone in the arena could feel. 3 seconds of absolute silence passed. Then Tupac stepped to the microphone and delivered the most devastating freestyle response in hip-hop history. "3 seconds," Tupac said, his voice low and menacing. "That's how long you had left to live before you mentioned my mother. Now let me show you what real brutality looks like." What followed was 2 minutes of the most savage lyrical destruction anyone had ever witnessed. Tupac didn't just attack Eminem's skills. He dismantled his entire existence with surgical precision. "You think you know me? Let me educate this fake white boy from Detroit. With dreams that I'm gonna break, you studied my style but you missed the most important part. And I don't just rap words. Kid, I speak from the heart." The crowd began to gasp as Tupac's response intensified. "You want to talk about my mother? The woman who raised a king? While your mama's probably ashamed of the embarrassment you bring, she watches you on stage getting destroyed by a pro, wondering where she went wrong, raising such a wannabe hoe." But Tupac was just getting started. "You think being white makes you special in this game? No, let me break it down for you. Nissan talent ain't about your name. I've seen real white rappers who earn their respect, but you're just a culture vulture that nobody will protect." The audience was now cheering wildly, understanding they were witnessing a masterclass in freestyle battling. "You came to my stage talking about attacks and war, but you couldn't handle a real battle if it knocked on your door. You disrespected my mother, the woman who made me strong. Now watch me end your career with just one simple song." Tupac's final verse was so devastating that it would be quoted in hip-hop circles for decades. "Take notes, little boy, on how a real soldier flows. Ass came from the struggle. Well, you came from the suburbs, I suppose. You'll never understand the pain that created my art, 'cause you're just a tourist in a culture I helped start." When Tupac finished, the arena erupted in the loudest ovation of the night. The 40,000 fans were on their feet, screaming their approval for the lyrical execution they had just witnessed. But the most powerful moment came when Tupac approached the devastated Eminem. Instead of humiliating him further, Tupac did something unexpected. He put his arm around the young rapper's shoulder and spoke directly to him. Their conversation picked up by the microphones. "Kid, you got skills," Tupac said. "Your flow is tight, your wordplay is clever, and your courage is undeniable. But you made one critical mistake tonight." Eminem looked up at Tupac, clearly shaken by the brutal response he had received. "What mistake?" Eminem asked. "You forgot rule number 1 of hip-hop," Tupac replied. "Respect the culture, respect the legends, and never ever disrespect someone's mother. My mom is everything to me. She's the reason I'm strong, the reason I can stand on this stage. When you attack her, you attack my soul." The crowd listened in respectful silence as Tupac continued his lesson. "But here's the thing. I see potential in you. You got something special, but you need to learn how to channel it with respect instead of disrespect." What happened next surprised everyone in the arena. "I'm going to give you a choice," Tupac announced to Eminem in front of 40,000 witnesses. "You can leave this stage defeated and embarrassed, or you can stay and learn something. If you stay, you apologize to my mother publicly, and then we'll finish this battle the right way." Eminem stood there for a moment, processing everything that had happened. Then he made a decision that would change his entire career trajectory. "I apologize," Eminem said into the microphone, his voice carrying clearly through the arena. "I apologize to your mother, and I apologize to you. I let my ego make me forget that this culture is built on respect." The crowd began to applaud, appreciating the young rapper's willingness to admit his mistake. "I came here thinking I needed to tear you down to build myself up," Eminem continued. "But you just showed me that real strength comes from lifting people up while still proving your skills." Tupac nodded approvingly. "Now that's what I'm talking about. That's growth. That's maturity. Now let's battle the right way." What followed was one of the greatest freestyle exchanges in hip-hop history. For the next 10 minutes, Tupac and Eminem traded verses that showcased both their skills and their newfound mutual respect. Instead of trying to destroy each other, they were pushing each other to reach higher levels of creativity and wordplay. "I see the hunger in your eyes, the desire to be great," Tupac rapped. "But greatness isn't about hate, it's about elevating your state. You schooled me tonight on what this culture's about," Eminem responded. "Respect and skill. No room for doubt. I came here as an enemy, but I'm leaving as a student, learning from the master about how to be fluent." The crowd was mesmerized by the transformation they were witnessing. What had started as a hostile battle had evolved into a mentoring session and mutual appreciation showcase. When the freestyle session finally ended, both men embraced in the center of the stage, and the ovation lasted for nearly 15 minutes. But the impact of that night would extend far beyond the Palace of Auburn Hills. The battle between Tupac and Eminem became legendary in hip-hop circles, not just for the lyrical skill displayed, but for the lesson it taught about respect, growth, and the power of acknowledging your mistakes. Eminem later credited that night with teaching him how to approach hip-hop culture with proper respect while still maintaining his competitive edge. "Pac destroyed me that night, but he also built me up," Eminem reflected years later. He showed me that you could be brutal in battle while still showing respect for the culture and the people who built it. The 3 seconds of silence after Eminem's disrespectful line became a teaching moment about the consequences of crossing sacred boundaries, while Tupac's response demonstrated how to defend your principles with devastating effectiveness. The incident also influenced how future rap battles were conducted, with many battlers citing the Tupac-Eminem encounter as an example of how competition could coexist with respect and growth. Today, the Palace of Auburn Hills battle is studied in hip-hop history courses as an example of how conflict can be transformed into education when handled by someone with both skill and wisdom. The one line about Tupac's mother that triggered 3 seconds of silence became a cautionary tale, while the brutal response that followed became a masterclass in lyrical warfare and moral boundaries. The Palace of Auburn Hills battle didn't just showcase incredible lyrical skill. It fundamentally changed how the hip-hop community understood the relationship between competition and respect, the importance of cultural boundaries, and the power of transforming conflict into education. Within days of the battle, bootleg recordings of the freestyle exchange had spread throughout Detroit and beyond. Hip-hop fans were analyzing every line, every flow, every moment of the encounter that had transformed an unknown white rapper into someone the community would watch closely. That battle showed us that Tupac wasn't just a great rapper, he was a teacher, reflected hip-hop historian Dr. Michael Chen. He could destroy someone lyrically while still showing them how to grow and improve. The incident also influenced how aspiring rappers approached battle culture and the unwritten rules that governed freestyle competitions. The moment when Eminem crossed the line by mentioning Tupac's mother became a teaching tool about boundaries and respect. The Palace battle became required study for anyone serious about battle rap, explained freestyle champion Iron Solomon. It showed you could be vicious in your attacks while still respecting certain sacred boundaries. Eminem's willingness to apologize and learn from his mistake also changed how the hip-hop community viewed growth and accountability. Instead of being permanently dismissed for his error, he was respected for his ability to acknowledge his wrongdoing and learn from it. Marshall showed real character that night, Tupac said in later interviews. A lot of rappers would have gotten defensive or made excuses, but he owned his mistake and asked to learn. That's the kind of attitude that creates real artists. The battle also influenced how established artists approached younger performers who challenged them. Tupac's decision to turn the confrontation into a mentoring opportunity became a model for how veterans could handle disrespectful newcomers. Instead of just crushing the kid and sending him away humiliated, Pac turned it into a teaching moment, noted rapper Ice Cube. That showed real wisdom and leadership in the culture. The freestyle exchange that followed Eminem's apology demonstrated how battle rap could elevate both participants when approached with mutual respect. Instead of trying to destroy each other, both rappers pushed each other to higher levels of creativity. That 10-minute freestyle session was like a masterclass in real-time collaboration, explained music producer Dr. Dre. They were competing but also inspiring each other to reach new levels. The incident also influenced academic study of hip-hop culture and the role of mentorship in artistic development. Universities began using the Palace battle as an example of how cultural education could occur through competitive performance. The Tupac-Eminem battle showed how hip-hop culture polices itself and educates newcomers, noted cultural studies Professor Dr. Patricia Williams. It demonstrated the difference between destructive confrontation and constructive competition. The 3 seconds of silence after Eminem's disrespectful line became one of the most analyzed moments in battle rap history. That pause represented the community's collective recognition that a boundary had been crossed and consequences would follow. Those 3 seconds contained everything: the shock, the anticipation, the understanding that something significant was about to happen, explained battle rap historian David Rodriguez. It was the moment when everyone realized the stakes had changed. Tupac's devastating response became a template for how to handle disrespect with overwhelming skill rather than simple anger. His ability to be brutally effective while maintaining moral authority influenced how conflicts were handled throughout hip-hop. Tupac showed that you could destroy someone lyrically while still maintaining the high ground, morally, reflected rapper Nas. That's a level of skill that goes beyond just wordplay. The relationship that developed between Tupac and Eminem following the battle became one of hip-hop's most important mentorships. Tupac's guidance helped shape Eminem's approach to the culture and his understanding of his place within it. Pac taught me that being an outsider didn't mean I had to disrespect the culture to prove myself, Eminem explained years later. He showed me how to honor what came before while still bringing my own perspective. The Palace battle also influenced how hip-hop venues handled spontaneous confrontations and unexpected challenges. The incident became a case study in how to manage situations where unknown performers challenged established headliners. The Palace battle taught us that sometimes the most memorable moments happen when we allow spontaneous interactions, noted venue manager Marcus Thompson. But it also showed the importance of having artists who can handle those situations with wisdom. The impact extended to artist development and cultural education programs. The success of Tupac's mentoring approach led to more structured programs for helping new artists understand hip-hop's cultural foundations. The freestyle battle became a powerful teaching tool in courses about conflict resolution and transformational leadership, showing how leaders can transform negative situations into positive outcomes. Today, the Palace of Auburn Hills maintains a memorial to the legendary battle, recognizing it as a significant moment in hip-hop history and cultural education. The one line about Tupac's mother became the catalyst for one of hip-hop's greatest lessons about respect, boundaries, and transforming conflict into opportunities for growth.